Hey guys, what's going on? It is Livid. Hope you're all doing very well today. Welcome back to another vendor reset video where I just show you everything that I think is worth buying from the vendors this week. We are starting off here inside the terminal as we normally do, and this vendor right away is going to be selling us a really good Cassidy for Lone Star. Already has responsive, you can just change trained over to either deadly or unforgiving. I do think that this one is technically better than the one that's inside Camp Clinton, but I'll still show you guys that one here very shortly. This vendor is also selling a really good inventive backpack for Tactician. Already has a high electronics roll, pretty decent skill power roll as well. You can either change ammo capacity or keep it the same if you would like to. I personally prefer disrupt resistance, but it is a personal preference. We're done here, so we're going to head over to the advanced weaponry vendor over here inside the base of operations. And the vendor inside the base over here is going to be selling a C79 scope for us. It has 18% critical hit damage, 2.5% stability, and 3% critical hit chance. Ideally, you would want 19% critical hit damage here, as well as headshot damage instead of stability. However, for what this is, it's a very good item to be purchasing for a lot of different builds, especially related to PvP or to PvE Predator's Mark. We are done here, so we're going to head up to Camp Clinton, and I'll show you guys that Cassidy. And the Cassidy at this vendor is just going to have deadly instead of responsive, so you would be stuck with deadly here. I personally prefer responsive and unforgiving, but responsive and deadly is also a really good option, so it's just a personal preference, whichever one you'd like to do. Next, we're going to head down here to Camp Hudson. Alright, we've made it to Camp Hudson. This vendor is going to be selling a small grip for us with 19% critical hit damage, 2.5% stability, and 2% accuracy. Very good attachment to pick up. The small grip goes on pretty much any gun and it will work perfect. It is arguably one of the best in slot weapon attachments aside from the hand stop when it comes to the foregrip. In general, small grips are a really good option to pick up to put on any of your guns for any build. Next, we're going to head up here to Kerman Station Safe House. Kerman Station vendor is selling an Omega rifle suppressor for us, and it does have 18.5 headshot damage, which is maxed out headshot, as well as 4% critical hit damage and 2% accuracy. Really good option to be picking up, especially for PvE builds. We would have ideally, of course, won a critical hit chance instead of accuracy. Still, really good option if you don't have any of these just yet. We have a couple items over at the Cavern, so we're going to head over there next. The Cavern is going to be selling a pretty decent Seeker Mine damage mod for us. 4% is maxed out. You can throw these on your Tactician builds and it will work very, very well. This vendor is also selling an inventive backpack for us. This is just available to you if you don't want to spend Phoenix credits for the other one. The electronics is lower and you will have to be rolling skill power, so you will be stuck on ammo capacity. I just wanted to showcase this one as a secondary option if you guys don't have the Phoenix credits and don't want to farm them for the other one. However, I do think that the one inside the terminal is better. We're done here at the Cavern, so we're going to head down here to the Meat Locker. The Meat Locker vendor is selling a really good CQBSS scope with 14% stability, which is maxed out, as well as 5% optimal range and 6% headshot damage. Really good option to be throwing on your Sentry build specifically, especially for the MDR. I do know that a lot of console players do like to run stability attachments in general because the recoil on console is pretty hard to control. You could definitely purchase these for any of your everyday weapons. We're done here, so we're going to head over here to the Ward Safe House. The Ward is selling a Damage to Elite mod this week. It's honestly not the greatest, but if you didn't manage to get the stamina ones that were for sale in the past, this one is acceptable. It is 188 stamina, pretty far on the low end side. And then we do have the 3% damage to elites, which is really what matters here. I still highly recommend purchasing these if you don't have any stamina damage to elite mods, but don't worry, we do have really good damage to elite mods this week that I'm actually going to be showcasing next. So let's head on up there to the Firewall. We've made it up here to the Firewall, and this vendor is selling a 4% damage to elite 209 firearms. This one is just a couple attribute levels lower than the one we had a couple weeks ago, which was 212, which is our highest record up to date. 209, extremely good, plus it's a 4%. I would still buy the stamina ones if you don't have any stamina specific ones, but make sure you guys are buying these as well if you missed the firearm ones that were for sale a couple weeks ago. Extremely good mod to be picking up. You can make firearm damage to elite mods work for any build. I would argue that you could even throw these on a Tactician build if you don't have any electronic damage to elite mods. These are going to add a lot of damage value. And this vendor is also selling a 6% first aid self-heal mod. You can throw these on pretty much any of your PvP builds and it will work great. Our first Dark Zone location is going to be up at East 64th Street. This vendor is going to be selling a 6% first aid ally heal mod. Really good to be throwing on your support builds such as Final Measure Healer or Tactician support. These mods are going to improve the healing that your teammates received from the healing skills such as the defib, overdose, or the booster shot. Our next location is going to be over here at DZ09 Saferoom, so I'm going to head over there and then I'll meet you guys there. We made it to DZ09 Saferoom. This vendor is selling an SR7 suppressor with 19% critical hit damage, 2% accuracy, and 6% headshot damage. This is honestly a best in slot item, besides missing out on crit chance instead of accuracy on the muzzle. You can put these on pretty much any build and it will work very well. Our next location is going to be over here at Dark Zone East 61st Street. This vendor is selling a hand stop for us this week with 30.5 reload speed, 4% critical hit damage, and 4% optimal range. Really good to throw on, especially your striker builds, especially your commanding determined builds. The faster that reload speed, the faster you're able to put more damage downrange. Next, we're heading down here to Dark Zone West 42nd. This vendor has a few items that I would recommend picking up this week. The first one is going to be this electronics mod on 264 with over 3,100 skill power. Very good to throw on your tactician as well as your reclaimer builds or your firecrest builds. These are going to be best in slot for any kind of skill build aside from skill haste, but if you're running tactician, you really shouldn't need to run skill haste mods. This vendor is also selling a small grip attachment. It does have critical hit damage, optimal range, and accuracy. I still think that the one inside Camp Hudson is better, but I just wanted to showcase this one because they are fairly close. It's just that the optimal range is different instead of the stability, but I do generally think that stability is better for a small grip, especially when we're talking about Dark Zone credits that are much harder to obtain. I would just buy the one in Camp Hudson. If you don't mind that so much, you could definitely just purchase this if you want to. Our last location is located down here on West 34th Street in the Dark Zone. This vendor is selling a 4% ballistic shield damage mod. Really good to throw on your sentry builds when you're using the pistol. You can also use these on your D3 builds to output some more damage. I think those would probably work out pretty well in PvP, but generally for the shield mods, I usually say resilience is the best one, unless we're talking about sentry specifically. There you guys have it. That's everything that I would buy from the vendors this week. Hopefully there were some items that you guys needed and are able to obtain from the reset. If you guys missed out on those firearm damage to elite mods from a couple weeks ago that were 212, make sure you guys pick up those 209s. There's really no reason to not buy them. But if there was nothing for you this week, there is always next week. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Have a great rest of your day.
What? It didn't register?
There's definitely some still.
I don't... Oh my god, somebody's medkit just brought me back to life, I think.
Yeah, rested.
Firearm striker because it's taking too long to kill. Well, that's our warm-up.
One left.
Thank god this is the first run, bro. Holy shit.
Hi guys also. How am I getting shot from 360 degrees?
Ooh, let me get some of that. Yeah. This fucking agent, bro.
What the?
Oh my god.
How am I? What?
Oh well, that's our warm-up.
Yeah, definitely. Just, you know.